So today I want to cover a topic that is a huge issue, especially for people in America, but all over the world, that doesn't need to be an issue at all. And that is anxiety. Now, here's the problem for me. I want to go into all the explanations about this. But what you really want is something you can do to alleviate your anxiety. So I'm going to try and stick with an exercise without going into all the education. Afterwards, I will go into education. For right now, I'm just simply going to do the exercise with you. And then we'll walk through the explanation after. So I will say this, we need to understand that there's a difference between anxiety, which is an emotion, and panic, which is biological. If you have gotten to the point where you've activated your fight or flight and your hands are shaking or something like this, we need to do something to calm the body. This is to counteract the emotional state. If you catch the emotional state early enough, you'll never go into panic. So you do this, you look at something, you think about something, you start feeling this anxiety, this energy building up inside of you. This is where we do the exercise. Steps are easy. The first thing you do is you recognize it's anxiety and just say, I'm feeling anxiety. Go ahead and name it. And then go ahead and give it a number. So right now, how anxious am I? I'm an 8. And second, create a goal. Where do I want to be? I want to be at a 3. Okay? I'm at an 8. I want to be at a 3. Now that we've given it a number, given it a name, we're going to do the exercise. I went to Thailand. The monk wanted me to help understand that the energy was real, so he gave me a simple exercise that I've expanded on. Here's the exercise, and it's incredibly simple. Put your hands together, almost touching, but not quite. You want to be able to feel something between your hands. One of the most common is you feel a sense of heat between your hands. Others, you feel like a cushion of energy, something like a puck on an air hockey table. So you feel something. It makes no difference what you feel, just that you recognize you can feel it. So you get that feeling. Then you open up your hands, release that energy, bring them back together until you can feel it again. Now you'll probably find that each time you do this, you can feel it a little bit more. So feel that again, open it up, feel it again, do this 3 times. Now do the same exercise 3 times with your eyes closed. You open it up, bring your hands together where you can feel that energy. Open it up. Bring them together where you feel that energy. Open it up. Bring them together till you can feel that energy. And then simply ask, where is your anxiety now? That's all you have to do. Most people will take that from the 8 down to a manageable area, a 3 or a 4. If you're close and you want to do it again, just do the same exercise again. Feel that energy. Feel that energy. You can do it with your eyes closed. You can do it with your eyes open. It makes no difference. I can now do the same thing just by cupping my hand and feeling that energy in my hand. But you're starting. Just go ahead and start right here. Feel that energy. As you do, you're going to find that the energy flows through your body normally and your anxiety goes down. You've stopped thinking or doing that which makes you anxious. Anxiety disappears and the body rights itself. If that did not give you everything you wanted, or if you're one of those people, because I've had a couple of people, almost none, but a couple of people who just can't feel anything here. So we'll give you one that you can do. Again, name it. I'm feeling anxiety. Give it a number. It's at an 8. Give it a direction or a goal. I want it to be a 3. Then we're going to do this, and I'm going to explain this to you. I don't want you to start doing this exercise before I finish telling you. So this is a very simple exercise again. And all I want you to do for this one is you're going to breathe. But right now, the survival center's in charge of your breathing. We're going to bring that up to this part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex. You need to understand that you're actually going to have this part of the brain talking to this part of the brain. We name it anxiety at an 8. I want it to be a 3 or a 2. And we're going to take charge of a primary bodily action, which is breathing. Now, here's the thing. When you take a breath, I want you to just take a deep breath. You're going to start this exercise and you're going to take a deep breath and then just watch what happens. And you're going to find you take a deep breath and you breathe back out. You can feel your body starting to push back out. And if you want to experiment with that, go ahead and do that right now. But you're going to see that the body naturally wants to breathe back out. And you're going to feel that pressure. The exercise is simply this. You're going to take a deep breath and you're going to hold it. And you're going to feel that pressure of the body trying to push back out. As you feel that pressure, you took your breath, you're holding it, and you're feeling this pressure, you're going to have this part of the brain talk to this part of the brain and simply say, it's okay, I've got this. It's okay, I've got this. It's okay, I've got this. That's all you have to do. This is everything in this exercise. And once you feel the body calm and relax, I want you to very calmly and very carefully allow the breath that you're holding to flow back out. And then as you calmly have breathed out, because if you breathe out in a big breath, you're going to feel the body tense up again. So after you do this, it's okay, I've got this. It's okay, I've got this. It's okay, I've got this. And the body calms. Then what you'll do is you breathe calmly and slowly back out, and then just allow yourself to take 2 or 3 normal breaths. No push, no fight, no force. And then go ahead and check in again. Where is your anxiety? Now what I find is this one doesn't take as long, and so it doesn't have as immediate an impact on anxiety. So maybe it went from an 8 to a 5. Great. Recognize what you just did. Give yourself credit for having, within 30 seconds, taken yourself from an 8 to a 5. Recognize the power and control that you have, and simply do it again. You'll find that if you do this a couple of times, you'll be able to bring your anxiety to a place where you want. Now, the wonderful thing about this is you can do this one anywhere. In the doctor's office, driving down the road. Don't hold your breath too long and pass out. But if you simply do this, it's okay, I've got this. You'll find the body calm and relax very, very quickly to a place where you get the calm that you desire. Now, the third one is just about as easy, but I want to recommend the first 2 you can do almost anywhere. This one, you need to be in a specific space that feels right for you. Now, this one, we're going to work with this, and this works with somebody who may have progressed a little bit further into a bit of panic, not just anxiety. Now, if you're in a full panic mode, you're going to need 20 minutes, a half an hour to work the chemicals back out. We can explain that in a bit. But if you're just barely starting, your body started to react, all we're going to do is the first thing we're going to do is relax the body. And the way to do that is get your body straight from your head all the way down to your tailbone. You want your spine to be one piece, going all the way from the top of your head all the way down to your tailbone, as straight as can be. This opens up your breathing area here. It allows you to get air all the way into the bottom of your lungs, which will allow your heart to slow down, your breathing to slow down, and your body to relax. The next thing you do, body straight. You want to put your shoulders back. That opens you up. This is a sign of safety. You're immediately telling your brain and your body that you're safe. You're taking control of this. It's okay, you've got this. But without any language, just by doing this position. Straight from the top of your head to your tailbone, shoulders back and open. The body is in a state of opening yourself up, and you're immediately telling yourself that you're safe. Then, you want to make sure that your head is where you want it to be. Now imagine that there's a string on the top of your head, and as you pull it up, you feel that go up like pulling on a yo-yo or opposite of a balloon. It goes right up, and it sits back down on your head, and your head's almost like a bobblehead now. It's perfectly in the right place. You give a little push, and you'll feel it naturally wants to roll back towards the center. Then you'll know that you're straight all the way up and down. And then you want to breathe, and this is, everybody's done this one, belly breathing and that. But what you want to do when you breathe in, you want to feel your stomach come out before your chest. So just take your hand and put it down on your belly. And as you breathe in, I'll go ahead and move this down just a bit so you can see it. You put your hand down here on your belly. Your belly comes out. And you're going to feel your belly come out first, and then your lungs are going to feel. Don't fight your lungs. That's fine. You'll get it. But just imagine you're breathing down into your stomach rather than out. Put your hands here. Belly first, then your lungs. And as you breathe out, the same thing in reverse. Your lungs first. And then your belly going back in. Now what this does is it forces it down, and you're going to push the nerves. You're going to feel a pressure like you need to go to the bathroom. You don't need to. But you're going to feel that expand first. Almost as if it's a balloon inside of you pushing right down into the pelvic floor. Now with this one, simply check in with yourself as you breathe. Are you where you want to be yet? Started at an 8. You want to get to a 3 with each breath. Where are you? I'm at 6. Still at a 6, but you're not an 8. I'm at a 5. With each breath, more and more calm, more and more relaxed, until you get to the level that you desire to be. 3 very simple exercises. I guarantee you, if you can concentrate, if you can focus your conscious energy on these exercises, you'll get everything that you desire. Now, if all you want is the exercise, you'll go ahead and be done. This is over with. If you want to understand what's happening, stay tuned in. So So the first thing is we need to understand that anxiety is simply an emotional state, not a biological state. Emotional states are run by chemicals, specifically neurochemicals. In this, the anxiety, you're having an excess amount of norepinephrine or noradrenaline, and probably serotonin, dopamine, but you're getting a flood of these that are in excess. Now, we can talk about it energy-wise, but chemically, this is what's happening, especially an overabundance of norepinephrine and dopamine compared to serotonin. If you get a lot of serotonin along with this is excitement, which can be just as problematic and disturbing, but it feels good. You feel happy about it. So you think it's the right thing to do. If you get far too much noradrenaline compared to the other chemicals, then it feels out of balance, and all of a sudden this is a problem. But these neurochemicals can be broken down by the body in the synaptic act. They'll be broken down incredibly quickly. So if you can stop producing them for 5 minutes, the problem no longer exists. So what you want is you want to do these exercises for 3 to 5 minutes. I tell people, I'm going to work with you, and within 15 minutes, I'll get your anxiety to the point that you desire. By the way, I've made some bets, I've made some wagers. I have never failed to de-escalate someone who did not have a specific biological or medical issue that made this impossible. Every single person I've ever done this with that didn't have a problematic medical issue, we've succeeded in taking this to their desired anxiety state or relaxation state within 15 minutes. Most of them within 5 to 7 minutes. Target done. So recognize that we're doing this, and we're entering this before you are too biologically charged. If you hit the point where the body has stopped making norepinephrine or noradrenaline, and you have activated the brainstem, and you've activated the fight or flight response, and you've started creating adrenaline, adrenaline can take 20 to 30 minutes, depending on the person, to go ahead and let that break down and move out of your body. So if you've already become too biologically charged, you don't need a quick anxiety reduction. You need relaxation and calming of the body. And that's okay. By the way, these activities will help you accomplish that. But you'll have to do them for longer if you've already gone into panic mode rather than anxiety. So the second thing is we need to understand the parts of the brain. Now, I made a mention to the front part and the back part, prefrontal cortex and the brainstem back here at the back of the brain. The brainstem runs survival. It doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't care what you like. It doesn't understand time. It just knows that its job is to keep the body from dying. When you start to have an anxiety reaction, you start to charge that part of the brain. If that part of the brain gets too activated, that is when you'll go into fight or flight, and you'll go from anxiety to panic. When we talk, when we do the breathing exercise, we're literally having the prefrontal cortex talk to the brainstem. Is that literally what we're doing? Well, probably not. But the prefrontal cortex is in charge of producing chemicals that calms the brainstem. The brainstem cannot calm itself. This is why we name it, which is a function of this part of the brain. We call it anxiety. Simply to call it anxiety rather than this is too much is a prefrontal cortex activity. We've already started making things better. The second thing we do is we give it a number. Numbers are another thing that can only be done in the prefrontal cortex. So we've already started moving the action from the brainstem to the prefrontal cortex to make it better. If you can name it, or as Dan Siegel calls it, name it to tame it, you've already started to make this better. Then you give it a number, another function from the prefrontal cortex. That's another step in the right direction. The third thing you do is you create an expectation of change. The moment you say, I'm going to move this from an 8 to a 2, the prefrontal cortex is starting to send messages to send calming chemicals to the brainstem. GABA and things like this, but you're already sending these chemicals to tell the body that it's safe and to relax. So as you do this, it's okay. You got your breath. It's okay. I've got this. You're concentrating on sending messages from this part of the brain to this part of the brain. To do this, it sends those messages chemically and electronically. But the moment you start sending those chemicals, you start calming. So we need to understand that we've got the three parts of the brain: the prefrontal cortex, which is where we use to function for conscious thought. In the middle, we have the limbic system, which is in charge of emotional responses, things like this. And then in the back, you've got the brainstem that only has the goal of keeping the body alive. As you engage the different parts of the brain, you start creating the internal environment that you desire. Now, I'll go ahead and put short pictures up of these and stuff like this, but all of these exercises begin to do this. You take an action, a function, that is part of the brainstem, an automatic, thought-free response, and you start moving that function to the prefrontal cortex, you're immediately going to start creating chemicals that allow you to calm and relax. It doesn't matter whether you're doing this. It doesn't matter whether you're taking charge of breathing. It doesn't matter whether you're taking charge of body posture. The moment you do this, you have taken a function from the brainstem, moved it to the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex will start creating chemicals that allow you to relax and calm. Again, if you do these exercises within 10 minutes, you'll be at the state you desire. Try these, play with them. I'll do this while I'm sitting. I hate needles, so I'll go to get some blood work done or something. I'll sit there. I'll do that with this hand. I'll start to feel the energy in this hand. They're going to take blood out of this arm. I let them have that one. I concentrate on this one. All of a sudden, I'm able to do these things that are anxiety provoking for me calmly, comfortably, and I'm able to get what I want done. Try them for yourself. See if you can play with them. Talk to friends and family. Let everyone know. See how this works for you. Let me know your response. Thanks.